One World Training welcomes you to this very unique webinar on the topic of ITIL 4. Will it make a difference to my career development? There are many articles or blogs and webinars connected with ITIL which emphasize a lot on the facts that ITIL 4 is one of the leading certifications and which also fetch a very handsome salary. We are not going to discuss those things because those are well known, and also that anybody who has a skill in demand will definitely fetch a good salary and maybe career growth in most cases. So here we are going to know more about what exactly ITIL is and where you can focus on. How can you really plan, create a strategy to build your career further with whatever you already know and whatever you have already practiced. It's like starting where we are. One of the principles of ITIL 4, leverage where we are already at rather than starting fresh. We would like to acknowledge Axelos and PeopleCert as we have used their information in preparing this webinar. About One World Training. We are a global training and consulting company having offices in several countries such as the USA, UK, the Netherlands, India, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, South Africa, and many more countries globally. We provide training in several areas such as information technology, business management, project management, ISO standards, GDPR, and many other topics for individuals as well as organizations. One World Training delivers courses in several ways. We have 5 different ways. 1, public classrooms. 2, online or virtual from your home or work location. Then we also have e-learning, the third mode, which is self-paced. Then we also have the 4th modality, which is a mix of e-learning along with support when you need from us. And lastly, the 5th one, which is on-site at the user location for both private and government organizations. We are authorized and endorsed by leading global professional bodies, and we have posted some of those logos and some of the courses that we offer towards the lower portion of this slide. So apart from ITIL, which is one of the courses we offer on behalf of PeopleCert, who own ITIL, we also offer Prince2, Project in Controlled Environments, Prince2 Agile, the Agile version of Prince2. Then we have Agile Shift, the Agile Transformation Certificate, MSP, Managing Successful Programs. Then we have MOR, MOP, MOV, wherein they stand for Management of Risk, Portfolio, and Value. And then we have P3O, Project Program Portfolio Office. And we also have many other PeopleCert certifications, such as the SDI ones, the Service Desk International ones, which are namely the Service Desk Analyst and the Service Desk Manager. Then we also have the Scrum from PeopleCert, Basic and Advanced. And we have the Lean Six Sigma ones through PeopleCert and IASSC, the International Association for Six Sigma Certification. And then we have the Lean IT through PeopleCert. We also offer certifications of other bodies such as EXIN in the Netherlands, in Europe. And we also have the DevOps Institute certifications offered training and certification, that is. And we also have the APMG ones, such as Agile PM, Change Management, and Better Business Cases. So we have a whole lot to offer that can cater to the needs of a variety of delegates like you. And last but not the least, we are also an Axelos consulting partner or an ACP who are licensed to perform maturity assessments in the area of ITIL, service management, in the area of project, program, portfolio, management maturity models. About myself, my name is Muralidhar Gadam. My short name is Murali. I'm an accredited trainer or instructor in several areas. I'm also a consultant, and I develop content for various programs, training programs such as ITIL, Service Management, PMP, which is the Project Management Professional Certification through PMI US, Prince2 through PeopleCert, Prince2 Agile as well, MSP, Scrum. We also have the various, which is the Service Management for the Digital Age, which is expanded as value-driven, evolving, responsive, and integrated service management, which is like an umbrella of service management guidance, not just ITIL. And then COBIT, which is the business framework for governance and management of enterprise IT, coming from ISACA in the US. And some of the badges that I have, which are active, are shown at the bottom portion of the slide. And I've been working for more than 25 years, close to 30, and have supported several industries in Fortune 200 organizations. Worked in many countries on site, but most of the time I have lived in India. So I've worked with teams in the US, Western Europe, Canada, Southeast Asia, Australia. I'm a computer engineer by education and also certified as an instructor and a coach. My interest areas and experience areas are mainly IT service management, software development, and support. And that's where I began my career into project program management, agile ways of working, digital transformation in the recent years. So now we are getting into the topic, what this webinar is really about. We will first quickly look at what ITIL really is, like an elevator pitch of some sort. Then how can ITIL really help you? Of course, no doubt, it's a proven certification listed among the top 5, top 10, if you look at various sites on the internet, and also listed as a qualifier for high-paying jobs. Many service management jobs mandate ITIL certifications, at least the ITIL Foundation, which is the starting point for entry-level certification, which is itself on its own, it's quite ingrained, quite comprehensive. I wouldn't call it a basic certification. It's quite a comprehensive one. And then for those of you who have been into ITIL V3, we have a quick comparison of ITIL V3 with ITIL 4, which is the latest one as of now. And then I'm going to talk about the certification scheme of ITIL, where we have that is towards the end, where I conclude with the overall certification scheme, but that actually includes 4, 5, and 6 as its components. So we're going to look at the managing professional or the MP certification scheme. Then we have the number 5 strategic leader SL certification stream, and then we have number 6 practice manager certification stream. With so much on the plate, on the platter, where to begin? That's number 7. So we'll give you some guidance on where you can get started. If you already got started with some of the certifications, there's a lot more you will see here, because we're going to cover all the certifications ITIL 4 has to offer as of now. And then for starters, we will see what is there in ITIL 4 foundation and certification. And conclude, come back full circle to give a glance at the overall certification scheme of ITIL 4. And then a little bit about the exams, how they are structured, what's the nature or style of the exam. And so that you can go back with all the information that you need. And you can always come back to us with your queries. We'll also show you where you can email us. We do have our website as indicated by the logo at the bottom, oneworldtraining.com. But we also have our email at the same site. It's called info@oneworldtraining.com. So let's begin. I'm sure you will have lots of questions, and we are there to fully guide you. On the PeopleCert's website, who are the current owner of ITIL, what do they tell us? ITIL, the language of growth. It is the most widely used global best practice framework for the management of IT and digitally enabled products and services. There's a whole lot said in this one statement. Most widely used global best practice framework for the management of IT and digitally enabled products and services. If somebody were to ask me in an elevator, if I stepped in on the ground floor of the elevator and I'm going to step out on the first floor, I don't want to walk much on that day. I have only probably 2 or 3 seconds. And if somebody asks me what is ITIL 4, I would tell them, you can co-create value with your stakeholders using ITIL 4 and drive business success in this digital era. And the source of this statement here is shown here. So why do we need ITIL? Some kind of a quick background on ITIL. It's all about digital technology, particularly with ITIL 4. ITIL has been there since several decades, but ITIL 4 is particularly for the digital world. And the term digital technology is seen everywhere. What is it really? Let's understand that first quickly. Digital technology, at least from the ITIL 4 perspective, is made up of 3 things. The old information technology concept, but we also have the operational technology, which is not new either. And then we have communication technology, which has also been there since ages. But when we combine them, we get digital technology, which is more recent. And information technology, as you know, provides users with information. Operational technology detects or changes the state of physical devices. And communication technology, as we know, makes IT and OT, operational technology, highly accessible to users. And when we combine all these, we get IoT, Internet of Things. So digital technology is about all of these working together. And that has transformed our life, our workplaces. Service culture has to change because everything is changing quickly. Even though I've been working for about 3 decades already, I used to think, and always in IT, I used to feel that my field of work is always changing every few years. But the recent years have been quite fast paced. The 21st century and the second decade at least. And therefore, people like us, professionals and even organizations, need to have a new service culture and continually improving service culture. Otherwise, they will be, crudely put, going bankrupt, and they need to remain competitive. So ITIL, in fact, IT as such, becomes an important business driver, source of competitive advantage, and therefore IT service management in particular becomes a key strategic capability. Service management is everywhere, and then we are focusing on IT service management. Service management requires technology, processes, people, tools, and all that. And ITIL 4 gives a fresh perspective on all that. And you're going to hear about that as well from me. New technologies, so many of them. Cloud computing has been there since already a couple of decades or even more. Infrastructure as a service as well. It's moved towards platform as a service, software as a service, anything as a service. And more recently, AI and ML, AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, have come out in the market more aggressively, even though they have been there probably since the 1960s or even earlier, maybe, in research and highly academic fields, well known to academic stalwarts. And then we have blockchain, AI ops, and so on. And in the ITIL trainings, you will get to know more about these things, including technology information. So, what is ITIL? Service management is evolving, and so is ITIL, which is the most adopted guidance on IT service management, on ITSM in the whole world. How has ITIL evolved? Let's get a quick understanding of that. ITIL came in the late 80s, version 1, where there were 31 books in total, created by a group of multinationals. And then in 2001, ITIL V2 reduced the number of books up to 7 books. Some say it was 8. And there was a little bit of focus on service strategy and service design then. V3, which was a major one in 2007, had the life cycle based approach with 5 stages of the service management life cycle, starting with the service strategy, then moving to service design, then service transition, then service operation, and continual service improvement. Some of you who might have done V2, who you know how strong V2 was. There's quite a lot in V2 at the time. So you will see that some of that there in ITIL 4 as well. The foundations, some of them do not change, but we are adding more and more into ITIL. PeopleCert, that is. Prior to PeopleCert, it was with Axelos, a British company, privately owned, with some shareholding by the British government. And even before that, the Cabinet Office of the British government owned ITIL. Eventually, they gave it to Axelos, and from Axelos to PeopleCert. 2011, ITIL V3 was called ITIL V3 2011. There were some incremental improvements with some minor updates in that version. And then 2016, there was a new certification released called ITIL V3 Practitioner. And 2021 is when the new ITIL 4 emerged. That's when ITIL Foundation came out first in ITIL 4, and then eventually over the next couple of years, very quickly, many other certifications. And it's still being updated and emerging. So ITIL 4 gives organizations with comprehensive guidance for the management of IT-enabled services in the digital economy. Those of you, all of us have worked with mobile apps to commute, to order food, to order online groceries and other things, electronics, even furniture, whatnot. B2B, B2C, everything is possible on mobiles. So that's called the digital economy. People have prospered. ITIL 4 is an adaptable framework for managing services within the digital era. So kind of reinforcing some of these thoughts again with these bullets on this slide. ITIL 4 helps to optimize digital technologies to co-create value with customers, consumers. The word consumer is very generic. It can include the customer who defines requirements for the services and who is responsible for the service consumption and the outcomes from that with support from the service provider. Apart from customer, we have the users of services who do not define the requirements so much and who don't really sign the agreement with the service provider because the customer signs the agreement. And the sponsor is the one funding the service consumption. So all these three, the user, sponsor, customer, are part of the consumer of the service who are supported by the service provider. So ITIL 4 helps to co-create, not just deliver value, but work closely, collaborate with those consumers and other stakeholders to co-create value. So that's another new thing in ITIL 4. And to drive the business strategy of the provider as well as the consumer, but more importantly, the consumer strategy, and to embrace digital transformation, which can also be continual. So it's an end-to-end digital operating model for the service delivery and operation of IT-enabled products and services, and enables IT teams to continue to play an important role in wider business strategy. The term operating model, what is it? In simple words, it's a conceptual or visual representation of how an organization co-creates value with its customers and other stakeholders, as well as how the organization runs itself. It should pictorially show us how it creates value and how it runs itself. Business model is another similar term. Business model is also about how the organization creates value through its funding, products, and unique selling propositions, the channels of distribution and marketing, and so on, the segments it will operate in, unique selling proposition. Whereas operating model goes slightly different in terms of how it actually works with its operations. ITIL 4 is quite comprehensive. It has many best practice modules. By module, I mean a certification, a training and certification. Each of these modules has its own core guidance publication, like a manual, and associated training and certification. When you enroll for these courses with us, with One World Training, you will have access to those manuals also. When you purchase a course, for example, if you purchase or enroll for ITIL 4 Foundation, you automatically receive the ITIL 4 Foundation manual based on which the courseware has been developed by us for live sessions as well as e-learning. But then to access those guides, it is not given to you by us. You have to use the voucher code, the exam voucher code that we will give you as part of your enrollment. And you need to use that exam voucher code to. There's a small process, simple process. We will give you the instructions for that. It's very simple. And we will tell you that also in our trainings. Explain that. The trainer will explain that to you. Using that, you can easily obtain access to those manuals. And it's a lifelong access to those manuals for the certification that you're purchasing. And ITIL 4 works with other areas such as Lean, DevOps, Agile. So DevOps, you might have heard, it's a methodology which came from the software development and IT industry. It's a culture, practice, tools, whatever you call it, all together. It's about integration or automating the software development process, like once the programming is completed. So it goes into automatic testing and managing all the various branches of codes. And it integrates with IT operations so that the overall life cycle of a product is kept efficient and continuously improved. And it allows faster ways of working, faster ways of delivery to consumers, more frequent deliveries, faster value realization, frequent value realization. In fact, it's closely associated with agile software development. DevOps actually includes agile ways of working and even lean ways of working. And ITIL works also with the Prince2, which is a project management certification. And ITSM, the ITIL 4 has a close connection with ISO 20000, which is the ISO standard for service management, for IT service management in particular. And ITIL 4, it's for individuals to certify in, whereas ISO is for organizations to certify in. So how can ITIL help you? Now, having spoken so far, I'm coming back to the elevator pitch. My initial response to whoever asked me in the elevator, giving me just 2 or 3 seconds as to what ITIL is, my response was, it helps you co-create value and drive business success in the digital era. That was for ITIL 4. Now, if they gave me a little more time, and based on what I have learned so far from this webinar, my response to them will be a little more. So I would tell them, if they ask me, what is ITIL 4? I would tell them, hey, we are living in a time of exciting change full of opportunity. And digital services are helping organizations to compete in the modern digital economy. But this high, fast-paced, and complex environment creates new challenges for organizations and individual professionals in order to manage them. And we are living in a new digital era known as the fourth industrial revolution, where there is digital transformation of our world, and there is interaction between humans and digital technologies and even physical items, physical assets. And it is unavoidable. Therefore, organizations and individuals need to be more agile, more responsive, respond frequently to consumers in the market, be better equipped to be more agile, and better equipped to adapt what they do to improve, and be ready to adopt new ways of working to succeed. So how about that? A slightly longer elevator pitch. So how can ITIL help you? By allowing you to understand how IT impacts strategy and how we can utilize the 4 dimensions of service management in a wider business context. ITIL 4 proposes 4 dimensions of service management. These are organizations and people, value streams and processes, partners and suppliers, information and technology. These come in pairs. These influence service management. Then, next one, use the guiding principles to navigate change, streamline work, and introduce flexible and collaborative working practices. ITIL 4 proposes 7 guiding principles. In fact, these were there in the ITIL practitioner in V3. First, they emerged there, but they have been integrated into ITIL 4 as well. So these are principles such as focus on value, collaborate and promote visibility, optimize and automate, start where you are, progress iteratively with feedback, keep it simple and practical, those kind of principles. Next one, break down silos by encouraging a holistic systems thinking approach to value co-creation. It's not about people in separate groups, like a give and take or handovers, but it's all collaborative ways of working, not just cooperation for one's own benefit, but collaboration for mutual benefit. Build trusted relationships with stakeholders and develop effective and timely communication. There's a lot of emphasis on ITIL 4 on business relationship management, supplier management. Work with complex adaptive systems and flexible processes that can adapt to changing environments. What that means is ITIL proposes guidance around handling complexity. For example, the Kuhnewin framework, and which allows one to think and reflect on increasing level of complexity from simple to complicated to complex to chaotic to disorder, and how to deal with them. And another example of handling complexity is when you have a major incident. Typically or traditionally, there would be escalation from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 support and so on. But one way to handle it, if it's a complex major incident, then it's better to swarm, put people together in one group, combine the experts and the novices all together, or at least not novices, but people who are from different technology areas, rather than escalating the issue from one to another technical area until the appropriate technical group resolves it. But what if all those technical groups come in together and start working on it? That's called swarming in very brief. So that saves time and makes the customer more happy. And learn the common language of IT-enabled services delivery to boost your digital career progression and set you apart from your peers. This is a key statement because I know you're looking for what is the benefit for you. What is in it for me? So better salary, job growth, promotion. I've taught ITIL to many people, and I've seen delegates attending from non-IT sectors, event managers, people who have been running events, bands, shows. I was astonished that they wanted to do ITIL. And I've heard from them they got into IT careers. If that's the case, then what about people like us who are already in IT and can get these new skills through the ITIL 4 certifications? I know some of you would be interested more in how does ITIL 4 compare to ITIL V3? I know that 4 has come in already in 2021, 2019, in fact, but I would, though I'm late, I would like to get started soon. So can you tell me what's new in ITIL 4? Sure. ITIL V3 2011, based on a life cycle approach. You might recollect it's based on the 5 stages of the life cycle, like I mentioned earlier, service management life cycle, that is, whereas ITIL 4 is based on the service value system approach and the 4 dimensions. I already spoke about the 4 dimensions a little bit, but what's the service value system? Because the service value system or the SVS works along with the 4 dimensions to co-create value. The service value system has its own 5 components, such as the service value chain, which are the activities performed by the service organization. It has the governance, the overall evaluation, direction, and monitoring of the organization. It has the 7-step continual improvement model or approach, which is the third component. It has the fourth one, the ITIL guiding principles as well. And then it has the 34 ITIL practices. We will see later on what these practices are. ITIL has a lot of practices. In fact, since we are in the word practices right now, why not touch upon that right away? These ITIL 4 practices are these are a set of organization practices which actually involve the 4 dimensions in it already. The older ITIL V3 had this term called processes, but it's been elaborated further in ITIL 4 and known as practice. In fact, it's a holistic vision of a way of working, which is called a practice. And it is a fundamental part of the ITIL 4 framework. The ITIL 4 practices are like a toolbox for the ITIL practitioners, and they're interrelated with the core publications or the various modules of ITIL. And what these are, just to be clear, these are a set of organizational resources. And resources are nothing but the 4 dimensions of ITIL: information and technology, organization, people, value streams and processes, suppliers and partners, or partners and suppliers. And these 4 categories of resources used for performing work or accomplishing an objective make up the practices. So there are totally 34 practices in all. And therefore, the ITIL 4 framework reinforces a flexible and non-siloed approach for the application of ITIL practices. So, for example, if I take the change management process from ITIL V3, in ITIL 4, we have the change enablement practice. It's no longer called management of change. It's called change enablement, because change should not be so bureaucratic to handle. And therefore, it's termed as change enablement and also as a practice, not a process. And which means it'll have the process of change enablement. It'll have the information and technology dimension guidance for change enablement. ITIL 4 will also have the partners and suppliers guidance for change enablement. And we'll also have the organization people guidance for change enablement. For example, what are the roles in change enablement? What kind of skills may be needed? What kind of team structure is needed and all that. So it's more comprehensive in ITIL 4. And the next thing we see in the differences are, I just concluded that applies a process model to create value in the version 3. And ITIL 4 applies practices and value chain activities to co-create value. The value chain activities are 6 in number. These are activities which any service management organization does. Well, they may do hundreds or thousands of activities, but ITIL 4 proposes at least 6 key activities, such as plan, uh, design and transition, obtain or build, deliver and support, improve, engage. So these are activities along with the 34 practices that help in co-creation of value. Then coming to the certification scheme, in ITIL V3, we had the ITIL Foundation, and then ITIL Practitioner. And then with the ITIL Foundation as a prerequisite, one could continue their certification path, choosing the life cycle stream or path or the capability path with its own set of certifications. And one could do all of them, and that will lead to ITIL Expert. And then afterwards, there's like some kind of a project submission of continual improvement project, and along with some interviews and all that, and that will fetch the ITIL Master. Whereas in ITIL 4, it's first of all ITIL Foundation, and then one could choose the ITIL Practice Manager, which is a collection of certifications, or Managing Professional, similarly, a suite of certifications, Strategic Leader as well, another suite of certifications. They could choose either of these 3 or all of them. And of course, to be the ITIL Master, one would have to obtain all the 3 streams. Yeah, but in the ITIL 4, there is no kind of interview or any project submission to be done. Once a candidate has obtained, someone like you has obtained several certifications, which I will again explain clearly afterwards in these 3 streams, then you automatically receive the ITIL Master certificate. And then there are other certifications in ITIL 4, such as acquiring and managing cloud services, and then sustainability in digital and IT. Those can be done without obtaining the ITIL Foundation, whereas all the others require ITIL Foundation as a prerequisite. And there are many other changes as well, but these are some of the major ones when we compare ITIL 4 with the previous ITIL V3 in 2011. So now let's look into the certifications scheme. I'll talk more about the ITIL Foundation a little later, because that will be a starting point, those who want to begin their journey with ITIL 4. But I'm going to jump up a little bit to tell you more about the Managing Professional stream. So this one provides practical and technical knowledge about how to run successful IT-enabled services, teams, and workflows. Now, to obtain the Managing Professional certificate, one would have to complete these 4 listed on this slide. There is no separate exam for the MP certificate. But once you have done the foundation, then you are eligible to pick up any of these 4. And if you do all these 4, you automatically receive the Managing Professional certificate. Each one of them is associated with a training. And of course, Managing Professional does not have a training on its own anymore. There was a Managing Professional transition training earlier and certification. It's no longer available. So let's look at these 4. These are called specialists. 3 of these are specialists, and 1 of them is strategist. The first one, Create, Deliver, and Support, or CDS, is aimed at ITSM practitioners who are managing the operation of IT-enabled and digital products and services, and those responsible for the end-to-end delivery. What does it mean? This means those who are developing, deploying services, and also monitoring and supporting them, and who want to make sure that these services are delivered and supported according to agreed levels. So that's a big ask. So in this course, we'll particularly cover how to improve existing processes, how to effectively manage your IT teams, how to optimize value streams and workflows. The concept of value streams has come into ITIL now in ITIL 4, which were originally in the engineering and manufacturing fields. And therefore, we will see that in value streams, we have the focus on maximizing value for the consumers. And in ITIL 4, value streams are a combination of, a value stream is a series of steps an organization undertakes to create products and services in order to deliver or co-create value. Therefore, a simple example of a value stream could be, let's say there's an incident. Now, the traditional thinking was that incident management is going to be a single process with a sequence of steps. But it's more than that, because an incident handling may require a change to an application, for example, and that can trigger change approval. Therefore, the change enablement practice will come in with its own process, with their own teams, and then the change can trigger deployment. Of course, it can trigger some software development as well, so that practice will come in, and then deployment in order to build and move the service components to the environment in order to resolve the incident, and then eventually to release it for the user. So we call it deployment management, another practice coming in. Release management is another practice coming in, apart from change enablement and software development and management. And not to forget service validation and testing, because testing has to be done as well. Therefore, we have a more wider model now, value stream model rather than just a process model. And it's an extremely important concept in ITIL 4 in many of the exams for ITIL 4. Next, we have drive stakeholder value. Oh, sorry, by the way, for the CDS, you'll also learn about aligning digital services with business strategy, improve how services are delivered, integrate new technologies. So you're going to learn about some of the new technologies also, at least in not too much detail, but sufficient enough to know how to understand stakeholders who are talking about them. And you'll also learn how to embed lean, agile, and DevOps ways of working. Then we have the drive stakeholder value, the DSV one, which is aimed towards practitioners like you who are responsible for managing and integrating stakeholders, those that focus on customer journey and experience, and those that are responsible for fostering relationships with partners and suppliers. So as you can see, it's a bit different from the previous CDS. The CDS is like the daily, the engine room of IT. This one is a little delight. This is the one ensuring delight of IT services and not the engine room. So in DSV, it's more about how to effectively manage key stakeholders, build trusted relationships, shape the customer demand, optimize the user experience and customer experience, including onboarding of services, etc. Embed the effective design thinking, and they look closely at the 7-step customer journey, which is like begins with explore, then engage, then offer and agree, onboard, co-create, and realize the value. Then we have the third one, high velocity IT, because we are living in a high velocity world. HVIT, this is for IT managers and practitioners like you who are involved in digital services or digital transformation projects working within or towards high velocity environments. So this is another interesting one. This is also, those who are working in migrating to lean, who wish to migrate to lean, agile, or DevOps ways of working, or highly automated environments. So in this HVIT, you will get to know more about lean, agile, and DevOps as compared to the CDS certificate, training and certificate. Therefore, HVIT will help you to converge business and IT goals, recognize and manage complex adaptive systems, bridge the development and operations gap, improve performance with lean, agile, and DevOps methods, increase the speed and quality of IT services, and also make value creating digital and IT investments. Then we have the ITIL 4 strategist, not specialist, strategist, direct plan and improve, or DPI. This seems more like a management certification, pure management. Yes, it is aimed at managers of all levels involved in shaping direction and strategy or developing a continually improving team. It will cover both practical and strategic elements. Therefore, this is about bringing digital and IT strategies to life. Though it's not a digital and IT strategy course, because that's a different one that we will talk about a little later. And also in the DPI course, it'll help those who are involved in planning work, improving products, managing organizational change, like cultural changes, and those responsible with interfacing with governance, risk, and compliance, the GRC, that is. There's a lot about continual improvement in the DPI module. So DPI will help you to drive and manage effective organizational change, encourage a culture of continual improvement, ease your decision making, support the change management, meaning bringing change in people, minimize disruption, and innovate while remaining compliant. Now, that might have seemed quite interesting, exciting, but there's a lot more. We have the strategic leader stream as well, SL. Now, this qualification or certificate, the SL one, is automatically obtained when you complete the two listed here. Of course, ITIL Foundation is mandatory. ITIL 4, that is. So this stream recognizes the value of ITIL, not just for IT operations, but for all digitally enabled services. Becoming an ITIL 4 strategic leader demonstrates that you have a clear understanding of how IT influences and directs business strategy. So if you complete the ITIL 4 strategies, the DPI that I covered on the previous slide, and if you also do this ITIL 4 leader, digital and ID strategy, the DITS, you automatically obtain the SL qualification or certificate, provided you have done the foundation first in order to do the DPI and the DITS. So you might have noticed already that the DPI certification is common to both the strategic leader and the managing professional, which were shown on the previous slide. Now, what is this new digital and ID strategy, training and certification, or the module? This will help IT leaders and aspiring leaders to build and implement effective IT and digital strategy that can tackle digital disruption and drive success. Yes, so mainly this is for IT and business directors, heads of department, aspiring C-suite professionals, other business leaders across the organization who are looking for guidance that will help them craft a digital vision, shape IT and business strategy, and drive organization change. So ITIL for DITS will help you to develop a cross-organizational digital strategy, craft a digital vision, drive operational excellence, respond to digital disruption, enable a sustainable business, strategically manage risk, and develop digital leaders for the future. So how about that? That was exciting, wasn't it? Then we have the third major stream, the practice manager or the PM stream. The PM stream certificate or qualification is also automatically awarded when you complete ITIL for Foundation. You also need to complete the create, deliver, and support that was shown to you earlier in the managing professional stream. And then you have to complete some of these practices, which I will explain right now, which are shown in the box to the right. So this stream provides detailed understanding of specific ITIL practices, along with how to create, deliver, and support services, which means in ITIL 4, we have 34 practices. Each practice is a collection of the 4 resources or the 4 dimensions of service management. So we have, for example, release management practice, deployment management practice, risk management practice, and so on. And this is aimed at practitioners who are involved in specific ITIL practices. So if you're involved, for example, in problem management or change enablement, incident management, service desk, service request management, and so on, that's the area of interest for you. And who are managing the operation of IT-enabled and digital products and services, and those who are responsible for the end-to-end delivery. So it's a highly focused set of certifications for people who are working in a specific area, who are aspiring to work in specific areas. So for example, if you are aspiring to work in the service desk, number 1, first of all, I should say you have a lot of courage to do that, to be in the service desk. Nevertheless, I admire you for that. And then this practice certification and training, or training and certification, will help you know a lot more about the service desk. So currently 15 practices are available for certification, of which any 5 individual practices, along with ITIL 4 specialist create, deliver, and support CDS, need to be completed in order to receive the practice manager certificate automatically. Now, 15 are the practice certifications currently available. There are total 34 practices in ITIL 4. Also, when selecting the 5 practices, one or both of the specialist extension modules may also be chosen, which are not shown on this slide, but these are written here, the business relationship management or the BRM certification. And then we have IT asset management as a specialist certification. These are more elaborate certifications, just like the MP and the SL certifications there. And you could choose any of these two or both of them to make it total of 5 practices. So for example, I could choose from the 15 here, I could choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then of course, I'll have to do the CDS one and foundation to become a practice manager. Or I could randomly pick up any of the 15 and 5 of the 15, that is, do the CDS and foundation to get the practice manager qualification or certificate. Or I could do 3 from these 15 practices listed here, and then the 2 would be the BRM, business relationship management, and IT asset management. Now you might be noticing that number 10 is also IT asset management. That's a shorter practice course. It's a 1-day training program. Whereas the IT asset manager is generally a 2 or 3-day program, depending on the schedule. So how about that? There's quite a lot. So let me read these practices just quickly once. Service desk, incident management, problem management, service request management, monitoring and event management, change enablement, release management, service configuration management, deployment management, IT asset management, continual improvement, service level management, relationship management, information security management, supplier management. Some of these are general management practices. For example, number 11, continual improvement. Number 13, 14, and 15, relationship, information security, and supplier. So 11, 13, 14, 15 are general management practices. They are applicable to all industries. Deployment management, 9, is a technical practice, highly technical practice. So it's a technical management practice. All the rest are typical service management practices which have been there traditionally in IT service management. Service desk, incident, problem, service request, monitoring and event, change, release, service configuration, IT asset, service level. Further, practice manager. There is another route to obtain the PM practice manager certificate. Of course, CDS has to be completed, the ITIL specialist create, develop, and support based on ITIL foundation first. And then as part of your 5 practice certificates, you can even choose a certification bundle. There are 3 certification bundles offered by PeopleCert. These 3 bundles are monitor, support, and fulfill, plan, implement, and control, collaborate, assure, and improve. Each of these bundles is a longer training and certification program, unlike the individual practice certification and training programs. Because each of these bundles include 5 practices. So for example, I could do, or you could do, these 5 practices listed under monitor, support, and fulfill as separate training and certification. So you have 1-day training for each, therefore, and 5 certifications separate. Or you could do a single training program, which is for 3 days, which will include all the 5 practices in the 3-day program. And it's a single exam with a single certificate demonstrating your skills in these 5 practices. And the same applies for the plan, implement, and control bundle and collaborate, assure, and improve bundle. So this is also a good way for you to plan your certifications. So if you don't want to invest 5 separate days for these 5 certifications, you could take a 3-day program and do this single certificate. And you just have to write a single exam. It's a longer exam. Of course, it's not a half-an-hour exam like for the individual practices, but it's a 1.5-hour exam, which is a longer one. And under monitor, support, and fulfill, we have the service desk, we have incident, problem, service request, monitoring, and event. Under plan, implement, and control, we have change enablement, release management, service configuration, deployment, and IT asset. Collaborate, assure, and improve has got continual improvement, service level, relationship, information security, and supplier management. So once you have taken one bundle, because it will already have 5 practices, there is no need to do any other practice training and certification. Yes, you just have to do the CDS one and foundation. then you automatically obtain the practice manager certificate. So with so much on the platter, where to start? A recommendation is to train and certify in ITIL for foundation over a period of 2 days, either in a live virtual class or through e-learning. By the way, One World Training has got e-learning for all of these certifications that I have explained so far. Even for the bundles, practice bundles, we have e-learning available. So ITIL 4 Foundation is an introduction to ITIL 4. And if I read the text here, it enables candidates to look at IT service management through an end-to-end operating model for the creation, delivery, and continual improvement of tech-enabled products. So let's look at it further. What you will learn in ITIL Foundation? It's a holistic approach to the facilitation of co-creation of value with customers and other stakeholders in the form of products and services. And it will introduce you to the service value system, which is having 5 components, the ITIL guiding principles, which are 7 in number. It has the 34 practices, of which 15 will be described in this course. The 15 that were shown in the practice certifications, all of them will be covered very briefly in the foundation course, so that when you do the practice certifications, then you already know a little bit about those practices. Then we have governance, then we have service value chain and its 6 activities that I mentioned earlier, and the continual improvement model, which is like a 7-step approach for improvement, for periodic improvement, or a step-by-step improvement. And then it will also cover the 4 dimensions of service management in this training. At the right, we are showing you the ITIL 4 Foundation, the cover of that manual, which you will have access to when you use your exam voucher to obtain that access, along with booking your exam date and time using the same voucher. So in summary, ITIL 4 Foundation has been designed as an introduction to ITIL 4 and enables people like you to look at IT service management through an end-to-end operating model for the creation, delivery, and continual improvement of tech-enabled products and services. And it's anybody who is working within the IT function, who wants to understand the key concepts of IT and digital service delivery, and is interested in helping their organization address new service management challenges, they can do this certificate. And also professionals at the start of their ITIL journey, ITIL 4 journey, or those looking to upgrade their existing ITIL knowledge can go for this one. So in this, essentially, we'll learn commonly used service management terms and concepts, understand how value streams increase speed and efficiency, discover how modern IT and digital service organizations work, understand how work contributes to organization success, and learn how cultural or behavior principles guide work that benefits the wider organization. So with that, we have come kind of full circle. It's here it's showing you the complete certification suite in ITIL 4 as of now. So we have ITIL Foundation at the bottom, prerequisite for most of these upper level certifications, except the 2 on the extreme left, namely the ITIL Specialist Acquiring and Managing Cloud Services, or the AMCS, and the ITIL Specialist Sustainability in Digital and IT, the SDIT. And I begin at the extreme right. We've got the ITIL Strategic Leader that is automatically obtained when you finish or complete Direct Plan and Improve a Digital IT Strategy and Foundation certifications. The middle one, ITIL Managing Professional or MP, is automatically awarded to you when you finish or complete the training and certification for Direct Plan and Improve, Create, Deliver, and Support, High Velocity IT, Drive Stakeholder Value, and Foundation. Of course, Foundation first. Practice Manager, as I explained in detail earlier, awarded to you who have finished Create, Deliver, and Support, ITIL Foundation, any of the 5 of the 15 practices listed here, or any one of the 3 practice bundles, each bundle having 5 certificates, 5 practices as a single certificate. And you could also, when you're selecting the 5 out of the 15, you can even choose 5 from the 17 rather than 5 from 15. By 17, I mean you could pick even any one or two from the ones towards a little bit to the left under the extension modules, the business relationship management and the IT asset management. And as I mentioned here, the ITIL specialist IT asset management is a longer training program, usually a 2 or 3 day, whereas IT asset management as a practice is a 1 day program, which is a kind of a summarized edition of the specialist one. A bit about the exams. This is the Bloom's taxonomy or the pyramid of learning and testing, which has 6 levels of learning and testing. And these exams use some of these testing levels. Level 1, very basic. The questions will be memory recall or remembering questions. Level 2 questions will be of the understanding type, go a little bit beyond memory recall. Level 3 will be concept application questions. 4 are analysis questions. So the level of difficulty could increase as we move up. There are no questions in these exams, in ITIL 4 exams from level 5 or level 6. The foundation exam is at level 1 and 2, remembering and understanding. All the other higher levels are from level 2 and 3. One of the certifications, which is the DITS and the Sustainability in Digital and IT, which can be obtained without the foundation, that sustainability one. DITS does require the foundation, digital and IT strategy. That also has level 4 questions. And that's because these 2 modules have assignments to be completed outside of the written exam. So during the training, you will be having 4 assignments to complete in the DITS certificate and the SDIT certifications, in the digital IT strategy under the strategic leader path and the sustainability, which is a separate extension module. Therefore, level 4 is included there. It's usually in a group setting where you, along with others in the training, will have to complete those assignments. If you're doing e-learning, which we have with us also, then you have to do that on your own. So that was, we hope you found that interesting, exciting, and something that'll make you think. And we are glad to receive you in One World Training. Get in touch with us anytime. We're available all the time for you. You can use our email, info@oneworldtraining.com. We also have our contact numbers for different countries at our website, www.oneworldtraining.com. And we hope to see you soon with us in with your starting of your journey with ITIL 4 Foundation. And if you already started your journey, come to us. We have all the others modules available. If you have already done ITIL to the master level, congratulations. In fact, if you have done any of the ITIL 4 certifications already, that is solid already. Congratulations. Admiration for you. And you can come to us for the others, like project management, program management, agile, and many other certifications that we have for you. And we will be with you until in your complete learning, development, and career growth journey. Thank you very much for watching this, going through this webinar, and for being with us in this webinar. Thank you.